Alrighty guys, welcome to part 4 of my playthrough of Sonic 06, Shadow the Hedgehog's story. And hopefully I'll be able to actually record part 4 without the audio either cutting out or being interrupted somehow. Anyway, in the last part, we finished off Crisis City. I bitched and moaned about how boring it was, I think. So let's do some more bitching and moaning. Honestly, the way Rouge talks about that Chaos Emerald sounds like she wants to have sex with the fucking thing. Anyway, for those who have played previous Sonic games, particularly Sonic Heroes and perhaps Shadow the Hedgehog, you should recognise who this robot is. This is Omega. What is Omega doing here? Fuck knows. I imagine we'll find out in due course.
Yes, this is Rouge. Understood. We'll be there in a minute. It looks like Sonic and his friends have found something too. Let's go. It's not like we can do.
I don't really like Rouge's voice all that much. Sounds like a chain-smoking 40-year-old hooker. At least that's how some people have described her as. But she certainly doesn't. That voice certainly doesn't suit her in my mind. The latest voice she has now, in the new voice cast, I much prefer to this voice that she has at the moment. Though Shadow doesn't sound too bad. Shadow's okay. Sonic. Jason Griffith improved as Sonic in the later games, I think. This game, his voice performance wasn't that good at all. But I think in Sonic Unleashed and in Sonic and the Black Knight, he was quite good as Sonic, but just not in this game. Tails, meh, still sounds a tad girly in places. Though again, the voice improved before it was changed. And Knuckles, he's okay, but, you know, he's had worse performances. I don't mind Dan Green as Knuckles. And on a quick side note, we're back in Flame Core. And I'm going to say that this stage plays almost identically to how Sonic's stage played. The layout is the same and everything. We go to all the same places. There are a few tiny differences here and there, like different enemy placement, different enemies used, like tougher enemies, almost as if they're trying to make Shadow's stages a bit tougher. It doesn't fucking work. It just makes Shadow's stage more tedious, particularly at the points where you have to defeat enemies in order to proceed. They give you more enemies to defeat, and I think that just makes it more tedious, not harder. But yeah, we're also introduced to some purple-coloured enemies. In Sonic's story, we only fought the lava-coloured ones, the orangey red lava-coloured ones. Now we've got purple ones we can fight, and their life bars are, well, let's just say they're much more resilient than the lava-coloured ones. And that is cheap enemy placement. I'm sorry, but it really fucking is. It's fucking cheap. So we have to take the long route along the bottom, which is a bit more platform heavy. I'm sorry, I'm slipping up over my words like no one's business, but it's something that I can't be helped in my case. It's just the way that I am. But anyway, there's not really much to talk about in regards to Flame Core. It's almost identical to Sonic Stage, apart from, like I say, a few tiny tweaks here and there in regards to enemies and layout, but for the most part, it's the exact same path we have to take and everything. And you're about to see something really stupid here. Because of the controls, I ended up sliding off. I activated Chaos Boost, which is supposed to make you invincible, remember? And I died. If you want to prove that the invincibility is a fucking lie, there it is. If you were invincible, you wouldn't. If I were invincible, I wouldn't have died. So yeah, load of bullshit. This game is just so unfinished and crappy. And again, I'm playing it because I can. I said to myself I was going to finish this game a long time ago, and I'm going to do it. I'm determined. That makes a change for me. So yeah, as I said before, loads more enemies to fight with Shadow. And it's not harder, it really is just more tedious, and that's it. So basically, because this stage is almost entirely identical to Sonic's stage, I'm just going to continue talking about the voice acting, I suppose, because I can't think of much else to talk about. Well, I've already spoke about Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow and Rouge. I briefly mentioned my thoughts on Silver's voice in some way through Sonic's playthrough, you know, the Sonic story. And I said that I thought the voice itself suited him, but the acting was a bit poor in places. And I stand by that. Even this time later, I still stand by that. Blaze's voice is pretty good, I suppose. I don't have an issue with Blaze's voice. Amy's voice, again, I don't really have much of an issue with it. I kind of like Lisa Ortiz's take on Amy. Definitely much better than the voice she's got now. I hate the Minnie Mouse voice. I really do, I'm sorry. I hate the Minnie Mouse voice she's got now. Let's see. Omega's voice was at its best in Shadow the Hedgehog. The voice that Omega has in this game is... I don't like it that much. I don't hate it, but it's just... It doesn't suit Omega in my mind. It's not how I always envisioned Omega sounding. But then again, that's because I've been spoiled by Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog. But hey ho. Sorry. So yeah, Dr. Eggman, brilliant as always. I've never ever had an issue with Mike Pollock's take on the character. I absolutely love Mike Pollock's take on Eggman. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Perfect blend of, you know, evil and funny. You know, evil and goofy. Elise's voice, meh. Not good, not bad, just meh. And I think that's practically all the voices of the characters in this game that I really want to talk about. I don't really see the need to talk about any other characters because they're not in this game. Oh, and Mephiles, I probably should mention Mephiles. Yeah, Mephiles is cool. He's got a cool voice. Particularly his generic evil laugh, which... probably a bit of a spoiler there, but you will hear it at some point in this playthrough, but not for a long while yet. Let's just say he's got a really cool evil laugh. Yeah, I think that's definitely all the voice actors by now. I won't go into too much detail about the, you know, non-playable characters like the, you know, anyone else, because they're just like so minor that I don't even care about them. The music in this game is cool, and it's one of the highlights of this game, definitely for me, is the soundtrack. I think it's an incredible soundtrack. There are a few duds here and there, but quite a lot of the tracks of the stages are particularly memorable. Particularly Crisis City and Wave Ocean. And Wave Ocean the Endlet's also a very good track. There are a few dud tracks though, like I don't like Aquatic Bass's music. And I also don't go much on Kingdom Valley all that much. But that's really about it. I pretty much like the rest of the tracks. Like I say, the ones I like best are definitely Crisis City, Wave Ocean, and Wave Ocean the Inlet. So yeah, well now we're inside the volcano. We're still doing the same shit that we did with Sonic. I'm going to try my hardest not to bitch and complain throughout this entire part, because I mean, who wants to listen to that? On my first recording, I remember just doing nothing but bitch and bitch because I did not know what to talk about. And then, obviously, thankfully, I lost all that footage for some reason because Windows Movie Maker's a bitch. I'm not even going to attempt to hide that fact. It's a bitch. I could use better programs, but I can't be. It's simple, it's easy for me to use, and I can't be fucked to download anything else onto my computer, to be honest with you. It serves its purpose, and that's good enough for me. But yeah, I was kind of grateful in a way that it was deleted, in that the sound didn't come through. Then again, it might not have been Movie Maker. I've also got a dodgy USB port on my laptop at the moment, and yeah. Oh, here's something else. The fucking lanterns, I think, are speak properly. The lanterns were placed so cheaply in Shadow's version of the stage. I don't remember them ever being placed that cheaply in Sonic's version of the stage. So yeah, be careful when you hit the lanterns when you reach that room, because you could die like I just did. Yeah. I don't go much on having to defeat enemies in order to proceed. It's not something that's particularly enjoyable to me in my mind. I don't particularly enjoy having to battle enemies in order to proceed. It's just not something I enjoy doing in a platforming game. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like Shadow's version of the stage, even if it is identical to Sonic's. I just don't like having to constantly, battle enemies in order to proceed, because you have to do that a little bit more with Shadow in this stage than you do with Sonic. And it's always stronger enemies as well. So, yeah. I'm not going to bother with the lanterns this time, because they're obviously so cheaply placed. Well, actually, I am going to bother with that one. And I think this is where the purple enemies start coming into effect. They're slightly stronger than lava enemies, as I said before. Like, these purple birds take 2 hits to, kill, whereas the lava ones only took 1 hit. And I don't need all that rubbish, all them stupid lanterns. I can just proceed as normal. With Sonic, you can actually access a shortcut which takes you straight through to the knuckle section, but with Shadow you cannot access that part. You have to go through this part here, which is an enormous issue. I didn't actually take the shortcut in Sonic Story anyway, because I missed it. But hey ho, much like with Sonic Story, Shadow even has a little Rouge segment, because Rouge plays identically to Knuckles. Again, we have to find the 5 little purple lantern thingies and light them up in order to proceed. And again, I personally always go from top to bottom. I start right at the very top, make sure I get every last lantern, and then I go down to the bottom from there. And I'm trying to get off this fucking wall, and she won't have it. There we go. I hate that glitch. Again, I don't know if these lanterns actually switch off if you don't do it quick enough. So, I really haven't got a clue about that. So we're just going to take these out. Ba-boom. They're placed differently than what they are in Sonic's, well, Knuckles' segment. So, don't expect them to be in the same place that Knuckles had them. So let's just wander around until Shadow decides he's going to take over. There we go. So yeah, like you've just seen here, you needed to kill those 2 enemies in order to spring up there. In Sonic Story, you could just spring up there straight away. You didn't need to defeat enemies, so that's what I meant by Shadow having to defeat more enemies in order to proceed more. I am sorry, I just got this really nasty cough and it's come on out of nowhere. I literally did not have this before I started this video. It just seems to probably indicate that I need a drink. I'll do that in a second. But that's a wrap. That is Flame Core. Hopefully we won't have to repeat anything else of Sonic's, like a certain annoying, boring, stupid boss that I hate. Hopefully we won't have to fight that annoying bastard ever again. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? Iblis Phase 2? That boss sucked. Hopefully I won't have to fight him again. Because, I mean, the game can't punish you that badly, can they? Or can they? Can it? I should say not can they, can it? Oh no.
Don't touch it.
Do 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 do. Can't touch it. Do 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 do. Don't touch it.